Whoa, there we go. We are game. Lila Taya Hipelo. Thank you all for tuning in. Usually we do this out of the studio, but circumstances sometimes change. And so we're definitely thankful to be able to do this show on the road. First of all, I want to thank Tony Duncan. That's the brother who was on the flute there at the beginning. He's also a champion hoop dancer, and you should go check him out on Instagram. He was kind enough to let us use his music and his art, his material, just so long as we give him a shout out on the show. That goes for anybody out there. Thank you all for tuning in. Everybody who's tuning in, please share the stream, like, comment, and share. Those things matter. They make a difference. And because I'm on the road, it's going to be, I'm going to have to rely on our support crew, our control room, to flash the chats across the bottom of the screen, because it's just not the same as being in the studio. Yes, thank you, Sheila Barnes. Thank you all for checking in. Please check in wherever you're from. Yes, that is Tony Duncan that was playing the flute. We are also, the proud producers of the podcast with the same name called Cut to the Chase. You can find that on Anchor. That is the easiest way to get to it, but it's available wherever you listen to podcasts. And so search for it, Cut to the Chase Iron Eyes. Is an easy way to distinguish that. And we have some perks lined up for you. For those of you who are paying subscribers, there are now paying subscribers. I mean, we don't have 1 million, but we have enough. And we in the liberation circle, the spiritual liberation circle, the political assertiveness. I sometimes I don't really like the word activist, but the media likes to call us activists. But we're just people who know that we have a direct role in creating the kind of reality and the kind of future that we want for our children and our posterity. Thank you. I see you all checking in. Please do not forget to share this stream. We have a very high impact program for you tonight. And I'm just honored that people in the indigenous world, people who are out there making a difference, laying their lives on the line, putting their bodies on the line, their liberties, their earning potentials, their reputations. I mean, all of that stuff comes into play. And it's not ideal that we have that is how we make our voice heard, is by expressing ourselves so loudly. Shout out to Josh Foote checking in from Rapid City. We have to express ourselves so loudly. It's places like this show. It's places like No Dapple. It's places like Line 3. I don't know if you saw all what's going on at Line 3, but we'll get to that later in the show. But they're called GNU Collective. You should be linking with them. You should check them out. Sometimes we have to do what the Tiny House Warriors are doing. Kanahus, Manuel, and Mayuk, and others that I don't know, who are all there as unsung heroes. Usually women who are laying their bodies on the line because they know that we are in danger. We are in critical times. Oak Flat, Wensler Nosey, everybody, we still weren't able to reconnect that with Wensler, but we definitely keep Oak Flat in our intentions. Same with Bears Ears, Thacker Pass, all, Landback Lane. Everywhere there's something always going on in indigenous country, and it doesn't usually make the mainstream news. That's why we have Cut to the Chase. And that's why you are integral. You are important to the work that we're able to do, that we are empowered to do, because you support us, because you might let us hold $5 a month. I mean, less than what you would pay for, again, you should not be going to Starbucks, but less than a latte. You can literally make sure that Cut to the Chase stabilizes and that we're able to expand. Right now, we're running off the blood, sweat, and tears and the sponsorship of Lakota People's Law Project, which is a subsidiary of the Romero Institute, which is a multi-faith-based organization that is designed to uplift people's understanding and experience, and also further and bring about the cause of justice. And that fits right with our lifestyles, which is to re-spiritualize the human experience. We know, and we know in a very visceral, painful way, that the Western world was able to rob us of our original understanding of what we are, of who we are, our understanding and knowing how we interface with sacred reality, with the sacred elemental universe. All of that stuff is there for us to rediscover. And we saw what happened at the Kamloops residential school, the 215. And I want to thank everybody out there who paid homage and who created content, who went to those places where candlelight vigils were happening, where 215 pairs of shoes were being laid at the foot of government houses. We have to keep the pressure on and make sure that Canada, the United States, the church are held responsible, are held to account. What Pope Francis did does not count as, it's just an acknowledgement. And I don't remember exactly what the statement said, but he basically wanted to sympathize with the people of Canada for what they were going through based on this genocidal, holocaustic discovery of children in a mass grave, meaning mass murder happened to us, to our children. So we have to keep that pressure on. That's something that we will be able to do through Cut to the Chase with your support. So I just want to say thank you. Lila Wopi Latanka, Chichapalo. I thank all of you who are paid subscribers to Cut to the Chase. Now, we have a rundown tonight that I need to get to because a lot happens in a week. And I apologize that we can't do this every day. I'd be doing this every day if we had the staff and the wherewithal, but we also got to be on the ground. So tonight, we will begin with a Leonard Crow Dog tribute. We were blessed enough to have elder, veteran, executive director of the Rosebud Treaty Council join us for a tribute and a discussion about Leonard Crow Dog. And Leonard Crow Dog is a legend. He was a living legend when he was here with us in the flesh. And as of Saturday, what was the date Saturday? June 5th, Leonard Crow Dog has departed his physical form. And if you don't know who he is, the 6th, it was the 6th, the 5th, he was laying in bed. And I just want to send our condolences to his family and his circle of loved ones. It's a great loss. It's unimaginable. We are not fully realizing what we lost with grandfather, father, uncle, elder, interpreter of the sacred, Leonard Crow Dog. So we are going to do a tribute to him with Phil Two Eagle. And after we come out the other side of our tribute to Uncle Leonard Crow Dog, with Phil Two Ego. We're going to talk about Thacker Pass Lithium Mine. We will be joined by Myron Dewey and Max Wilbert of ProtectThackerPass.org. Some of you, yay faithful, who have tuned into the show since day one will know that we've covered Thacker Pass Lithium Mine before with Myron Dewey, Derek Hinkey, and Don Day Manning. And so this time it's a bit of an update, but it's also new material. We did not know that Max was the person, another person that we should have on, that we should be inviting to chat about Thacker Pass. After that, we will get to a number of pertinent news updates, things that are happening. I mentioned Line 3 before, but Line 3 is popping off right now. And my heart and my intentions go out to everybody there who's making that sacrifice. Over 150 people were arrested. This comes at the same time that the Leonard Peltier Defense Committee is gearing up to finish the horse ride that they're doing, calling for the clemency of Leonard Peltier. They're going to finish in Washington, D.C. And that is from June 21st to the 26th. That different events will be going down in Washington, D.C. We will keep you apprised of all of those developments. And if you just saw, the Keystone XL pipeline was canceled by TransCanada. If you recall, President Biden already revoked the support for the international permit that the KXL pipeline needed to continue to try to aggress us, the treaty nations, and try to instigate a trespass against us, just like the Dakota Access Pipeline. And I'll also have a special update about a young woman, Jacelyn Charger, who is out of the woods as far as prison time goes, as jail time goes. She was charged in a direct action relating to the Keystone XL pipeline. We're thankful to report that she is not facing jail time right now. But that's the show tonight. I want to jump right into our discussion with Phil Two Ego. Thank you all for tuning in. This is going to be about a 35-minute tribute to Leonard Crodog, Wakan Ieska, interpreter of the sacred. He has saved thousands of souls, has guided more to paths of spiritual liberation in many different ways. And I'm blessed to even be able to bring this to you. So Control, if we could roll the discussion. It's a video from the Ocheti Shakoi Omnichie, and it goes without saying that it means a lot to us, because this was Leonard Crodog's last public address. And so I would like to play that at this time. We'll play a clip from the Ocheti Shakoi conference that you sponsored, or Rosebud Treaty Council sponsored. So, Lekshi Phil, if you could introduce yourself.
I shake your hands with a good heart. My name is Phil Two Ego. My Lakota name is Tashuka Hisha, and I'm executive director of the Sichongo Lakota Treaty Council. And what you're about to hear is I'm going to try to interpret some words from the late Leonard Crodog cousin. He at the meeting, the treaty meeting we had. Actually, we called it the Ocheti Shakoi Omnichie, a strategic planning meeting to strategize on how we can get the President Joe Biden to honor the treaties that were signed with our Oyate.
Wopila for that. And Ake, we want to always remember and carry on the spirit of Crow Dog, Leonard Crow Dog, and the whole movement designed to bring about our brilliance and our respect as Ocheti Shakoni. So Control, if we want to, you could roll in the film.
Okay, next speaker. I gotta get the other mic. Okay, next speaker will be Chief Crow Dog. So he's gonna talk about the unity of the Ocheti Shakoni also. And there's questions that are want to be asked later, but they're calling it out. So there'll be a question time tomorrow, they said. So anyway, if anybody's asking, okay, I'd like to introduce Chief Crow Dog here. Oh, Sheila, wag looking hello.
Oh, yeah. So KXD.
First of all, thank you to the common man and the common woman, the grandchildren, and my relatives on the sacred land. Thank you for seeing you. Some of you I recognize, some of you I don't. Seven counterparts.
Oh, okay. The chinks in Mexico. One,
My son, write it down. Well, I might say something good accidentally.
Oh, you can't. Tukashila.
Grandfather
Echata.
is where I came from with no pipe. He spoke
oh, you call church you
without
want.
the pipe.
So kata hikele walaka
In that fire out in the center, you see it. Seven council fires. Warm yourself up there. My mother will cook there. During that time, I received understanding. Go with the thinker. Take it with you. My mother told him, grandfather, my cousin, my little brother spoke. He spoke very good.
Tribal chairman, Oglala tribe. Oh, you can't. Dona Yahipina.
Those that are here, you speak for the people. What we're going to do, the sacred land. I'm sitting here with the grandchild, going to grow up, going to get education in the future. So it will be that I am thinking about this.
Oh, you can't. What kind is that?
The children, the
Oh, you
children,
can't.
with the children,
I said 7 council fire.
and
Whoa, come on.
the law
Washington,
the white man,
Aska Shashakele,
the white man,
Askake,
the long knives,
Ila, Shikigla,
think they are powerful,
Shikigla,
think they are powerful.
Tashuke Itko,
Crazy of him. What he did, he was powerful. On today,
You're taking cool.
we have a hard time.
No, Timot Hakabi Bruxa. No, Timot Hakana. I can't absolute it.
It seems like we're starving, but we are alive. The sacred breath, sacred breath. We don't have the sacred breath. We won't have the power. I have seen this. And seen the pipe. Those of you that have a pipe, now is the time. You have a pipe. This pipe is sacred. Many winters, we walk with it. We talk about respect, what is good. The leaders, the leaders, that we walk with. Doesn't seem to be a problem. I use it today. Did I use it? It is scary and then it is good. Pretty soon, I will come to you. I will come to you. I would like to come to you up in that teepee in the sky. See me. Respect. 2 strikes. I came from 2 strikes. Land of spotted tail. Mahim. So that the grandchildren will live in good health. On speaking in secret, it seems. You're speaking to yourself. No, you're speaking with the spirits. It seems that they left.
I told Grandpa and Grandma left. My dad left. And spooky language spoken to me. We got it. We Lakota have it. However, we got to stand on that foundation, that spiritual entity. So toons na ni try to lakin. Then na oyaki akin onicha.
Sometimes when you speak with your wife, you can tell her these are serious.
Oh, chete siya ko ikile.
The council fire.
Tuktino wega na kasnero.
They didn't write it down anywhere.
Tuktino wega na kas. Ninaki echa mahel iotaki.
It's in your spirit.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to give a little brief explanation that I told my grandkids I speak with Wanagi. I talk
speak
with
with
them.
spirit.
I thought I was a Yuipi man. And right in there, I got another language talking to me. I thought the highest telepathic communication was Shitu. But you know what? Washitu didn't know my dialect. Oh, hey, we're going to teach all our little kids. However, we have a good thought. Whether you're Catholic, whether you're Episcopal, whether who you are, put that together and love your wife or love your kids. Okay, little Tete Shakoinkile was going to go a long ways. There is something wrong, but we could make it good. We could make it better. All universities, we have universities. We could make it real nice, and you could live with Washitu Oyate. Wamalak.
You can live among the whites.
My heart goes out to all the tribal leaders. Bueno, otra cosa.
It's time, grandchildren.
Bueno. Vamos con spepta. Ilag ukia pictero.
You have education. We are smart.
Wakaisha. Travogala como ukile. Uktacha.
The children will speak. Walk with it. The door in your home is sacred. It's sacred. All my relatives. That's it.
We got a song coming up from Wakia Luta. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for sharing the stream.
Well, I think we talked to you up to low. That's the song for the drum. Oh, whoop. iha, iha. Oka, wakia luta wopila, wochekio loa. Leila, washte ahia pilo, wopila lo. Oh.
Again, that's Wakia Luta Chachega drum group there, and I'm very honored to be joined by Phil Two Eagle, Rosebud Treaty Council. They were the sponsors and organizers of that Omniche, that gathering there in Mini Luzaha in the Black Hills, and none of us knew that that would be grandfather Crow Dog's last public address. We just, no way we could have known that, but just seeing that and having Crow Dog's Tahashi Tawa, his cousin Phil Two Eagle, to be able to translate that for all of us is a benefit that we really can't put a value on. And so you heard some of the translations, and I'm very thankful, Phil, that you're able to join us and help us out in that way. I know you've been working a long time toward our, I don't know how to self-determinate, wo igluha, like our ability to stand on our own as a nation. And it's, I see the work that you're doing, and for however we can help it out, you know, we're willing to do that. But again, for those just joining, this is Phil Two Eagle, Executive Director of Rosebud Treaty Council, Rosebud Lakota Treaty Council. I would like, Phil, if you don't mind reintroducing yourselves, because sometimes we get new listeners all along the way, but if you could just reintroduce yourself, tell us how you got involved in treaty work, that would be good.
My name is Tashuka Hisha, Red Horse. My name, my name or English name is Phil Two Eagle. Also, and work for the Sichongo Lakota Oyate to Shakoi together in unity, and to start our movement to rights. Just want to explain that we've been here for thousands of years in Island, Keaubita, and work involves making the U.S. government, the United States of America, to honor the treaties. So that gathering that you saw where Kahashi Crow Dog Kangishuka showed up, he always knew when to come, when the Oyate needed him, he would come. We didn't have to give him a pari, but we did when he arrived. We always expect that for him to amazingly show up and give us his blessing, his prayers, because of the importance of Wakawi Chasha, the army man, his work for the Oyate. He's been doing this for probably since he was very young. The first time that I heard anything about him was in my mother Sundance of Paradise, and she told me that my mother's name was Gladys Bravehawk Two Eagle, and my father's name is Clarence Two Eagle Sr. I come from a family of 15, and today there's the Crow Dog Karishuka. She first went into Vision Pit, went in underground, Vision Quest underground, and that's a very hard thing to do. Very early on, he had a gift. They always told us that you can't claim that you're a medicine man. You can't declare yourself a medicine man. or no man can declare you a medicine man. It's the spirits that choose you. And he got the gift. And from what I remember as a young man, I don't know a lot of the exact details, but when he was very young, we heard that he brought back the Sundance tree that was arrested at the Oglala Nation in Pine Ridge somewhere. He brought that tree, Sundance tree, back to where they currently have the Crow Dog Paradise, Sundance, and that's how the Crow Dog Sundance started. So we was very honored to be able to have Kahashi Crow Dog at our meeting. That was May 19th, and we had our meeting was May 19th to 20th. And our theme was unity. And so we was there for a specific purpose. We had an agenda, and our main goal was to develop a letter and a white paper to send to the new president, Joseph Biden, to honor the treaties that they signed with us. So we're trying to be like our grandfather, Sitting Bull Tataka Yotaka. We always remember all our chiefs, and to be strategic and to be thoughtful in our forward movement. And it was a very awesome meeting. A lot of awesome words came to the people that day, those 2 days, and it strengthened us. Something we call woshake is the power of the Ocheti Shak. When we come together, we're powerful, and all these minds coming together in spiritual. It's important to remember that when our grandfathers or our ancestors, our forefathers and foremothers, that Fort Laramie, Wyoming in 1851, they went there because they were under the threat of war. They were being killed, but the United States saw that the Ocheti Shakoni was a powerful nation, that they wanted to make a treaty with us, a peace treaty, they call it. But when our grandfathers went there, they went there with the of securing free and independent existence, of which we've always had for thousands of years, going back into time, the beginning of time. And they sealed this agreement, they call it Wobche or Wolakota, with the Chanupa, with the pipe. So you have to remember that this work that we're doing is based on Chanupa. And the Tehincha Somi, the White Buffalo Calf woman teachings, are those laws that she gave us, or our guiding principles. So we're looking at the 3 principles that will keep the Oyate, the Ocheti Shakoni Oyate together, and that's going to be the Lakota language, and the Chanupa, the pipe, and Wolakota. Wolakota is the respect between people, between individuals, between the Tiwahe, between the Tioshpaye, the Oshpaye, and the Oyate. Maybe you might have some questions at this point.
Yeah, thank you for that, Phil. There's 2 purposes that we're blessed to and thankful to have you help illuminate and Kanri Shuka Wokiksuya. We wanted to remember him and pay tribute to the work he's done, because he, like you said, this Sundance tree that you referenced was here on the Pine Ridge, where when Sundances were illegal. And so they had to decide to go forward with that, even under the threat of getting arrested. And they, in fact, did get arrested. Crow Dog then established Crow Dog's Paradise, which we can't really measure how many people were saved there. And Crow Dog went out into the world, and he shared the Lakota cosmovision and the protocols. And he also was, called out for that, but he created allies, Hunka of the Ocheti Shakowi, and they all came to our aid, not only at Wounded Knee 2, but No Dapple at Standing Rock. And there's no way to properly give tribute to all the things that all of our leaders have done, and Crow Dog is no exception to that. So I want to thank you for giving our listeners an inside look. We're speaking with one of Crow Dog's relatives, and an organizer and a statesperson in his own right, and that's Phil Two Eagle. This is a conference, a gathering that happened in Rapid City that we're referencing. And we've been trying for a long time to organize unity, to put forth our rightful and righteous claims to the Black Hills, to have a relationship with the Black Hills. A lot of people are familiar with Dixie Grass, Little Bighorn, some of our history and our allies, like the Arapaho and the Cheyenne, and even those who during that time they weren't on our side, like the Crow Nation, the Pawnee, maybe some others. But now we're 130 years into the present day, and we're all on the same side now. Like we're all still targeted by colonial oppression, and by that system keeping us from establishing these relationships with the land. Now, one thing that I remember that I kind of like you to talk about is during the Ocheti Shakowi Oyate Omniche, the Confederacy is another word that I often use, just speaking in the English language, different places describing, what we are, who we are. But this here meeting was called by Rosebud Treaty Council, and the leaders there discussed not only the return of the Black Hills and how to interface with President Biden or the Secretary of the State for the United States or whoever it's got to be, but you also discussed renegotiating what's in colonial law is called the Federal Indian relationship or trust relationship. Now, could you kind of speak on what you'd like to see in terms of renegotiating that relationship with the United States, given our history? Because we've fought for and against the United States since they created themselves, invented themselves in our Keawitra, Turtle Island. We have lots of veterans. The Tunkashla Tawapaha. We have a flag song that we created that recognizes the complexity of our relationship with the United States. But I'd like you just to talk about what that relationship looks like and what you'd like to see come about during Biden's term of office.
Anytime we talk about the treaties, honoring the treaties, you got to look at what happened before the coming of the Europeans. So we call them the Skawachasha or the Milahanska, the long knives, or Washichu. But you got to look further back into history first. What's that got to do with treaties? It has a lot to do with treaties. So there was something called the doctrine of discovery. My friend Steve Newcomb, he talks about the doctrine of domination, about the papal bulls that were issued 1492 or 15 something, where the Pope issued the papal bulls instructing this is in my words, I don't have the fancy words Steve does, but they instructed explorers to come to the New World, which was Keawita, and we were there. We were already living there, but instructing them to come to the New World and to subdue us, to kill us, to enslave us, and to take our possessions, and to Christianize us. And then they've done that. They've, over 200 million indigenous people were killed across Keawita, probably from Canada, the North America, the Western Hemisphere. So when you look at treaties, how we lost the Black Hills, or one of the ways they are.
Yeah, that's about where we can fade out control. You know what? I just want to say thank you to everybody who is tuned in. What Phil is talking about, and the magnitude and the gravity of speaking about Leonard Crodog. I'm reading some of the comments as they come across, and we really can't put words around what we're going through with the loss of Leonard Crodog. So I'm thankful that Phil, his cousin, was able to come on, provide a translation, and then, fill us in on what he's doing. You can find Phil Two Eagle. He's on Facebook. He's La Colia speaker, and he was raised that way. He's a veteran. These guys don't talk a lot about themselves, but I see them. I see what they're doing and completely respect them. And so we got into a good session there, and I told Phil that we're going to play a clip from his session. Just so happened right when it cut out there, and then we were able to reestablish connection after that. But if you want to see that, you're going to have to go to the podcast, where we've got probably 16 different, hour to an hour and a half powerful material content of our lives, of things that we're going through, things that we experience. It's where indigeneity meets mainstream impact. You can kind of think of it like that. It's everything that is important to us right now from an indigenous authority, an indigenous perspective. And we have to start recognizing each other like that, and flexing and representing to the best of our abilities. We are our own authorities. That's what Crodog taught us, is that we have to trust our own thinking, trust our own brilliance, our own abilities. So you can find that on the podcast. And Lila Wopi Latanka, Phil Two Eagle, also find his work. It's connected to all the Ocheti Shakome work. And I want to pivot to another struggle that is happening right now, the Thacker Pass lithium mine. There's a company, it happens to be another Canadian company, just like TransCanada, called Lithium America, or Lithium Americas. And there are people right now in Paiute country, Shoshone country, and others who are rallying to defend their homelands from water poisoning, from the damage and the confrontation that big financial extraction and the private military complex is bringing to their homelands. And for that, we were joined by Myron Dewey, who is Paiute, and Max Wilbert, who is an ally, an accomplice, a bro, a settler bro, however you want to. There's a lot of settlers who are woke here, who know very well their inheritance, who know what white privilege is, who know what capital privilege is, who know, and not all white people are rich, and who know what white fragility is. And they're not afraid to discuss that. Those are our brothers and sisters. Those are people who are helping us to dismantle this system of oppression. Anyhow, Max Wilbert and Myron Dewey were able to join Cut to the Chase. And again, if you want to access those extended interviews, please do so. It's good because we can go on for a long time, but we want to pack it in. Do not forget to share the stream. I see you're all doing it. Like it, comment, whatever you got to do. But we rely on organic outreach. So thank you for joining us live. I want to take you to Myron Dewey and Max Wilbert, please. I'm honored to be joined by Myron Dewey of Digital Smoke Signals and Max Wilbert. They're on location. They're on site at what is known as Thacker Pass on the maps. But I want Myron and Max, if you guys take turns introducing yourselves and tell us what you're doing out there at Thacker Pass.
My name is Myron Dewey, strong thinker, and I'm from the Walker Paiute tribe and also owner of Digital Smoke Signals, community journalism.
Thanks for having us on the show. My name is Max Wilbert, and I'm Seattle occupied Duwamish territory and live in occupied Kalapuya territory, southern Willamette Valley in Oregon these days. And I'm here at Thacker Pass. I've been on the site off and on since January 15th and helped set up the protest camp, the protection camp that's been in place here for 5 months at this point. So thank you.
I don't remember how I first heard about, Pihima. Is that how you say that? Pihima.
Ihimuha.
Pihimuha. The past there. But if you could just kind of explain what's going on right now, because I know there's a lot of things going on, including it sounds like a farmer or a rancher is suing the Lithium company, and there is a resistance camp on the ground, and so I think our listeners could benefit from kind of hearing from you both about where things stand and what you see as the most important updates right now.
Yep, go ahead.
So this project, this lithium mining project, has been in the works for some years now, but the EIS process, the permitting process, started under the Trump administration, the last year of the Trump administration. And he tried to gut all those environmental laws, all the consultation laws. And so what normally would take 4 years for a project like this was crunched into less than 1 year. And so this process, the public commenting and so on, it all took place during the height of the pandemic. The reservation at Fort McDermott, especially hard hit, and was basically under total lockdown during this whole public commenting period. So a lot of people in the community didn't get the opportunity to even know that this was going on until the permit was issued, which was January 15th of this year. So it's 5 days before inauguration, before the changeover of power. But, this is sort of a bipartisan issue because the Biden administration is all on board with lithium. They think that this is going to be one of the things that saves the world. So the status of the project here right now is the BLM has issued their record of decision, which is the main federal permit for this project. There are still a couple outstanding state permits. There are 2 lawsuits pending. You mentioned one of those, Chase, with the rancher who's filed a lawsuit over water issues, water pollution and water drawdown of the aquifer. because the mining company wants to pump 4 million gallons a day for this mine. There's another lawsuit filed by 4 environmental groups who are saying that this project has violated the National Environmental Policy Act and a couple other laws as well. Those lawsuits are pending, and actually until this morning, we thought that they might start coming in and bulldozing and blowing up this place as soon as June 23rd. That's now been pushed back a little bit to July 29th is now the earliest date that the destruction could begin here, and the harms that this project would cause to the wildlife, to the water, to the land, and to the people are overwhelming and catastrophic. So I really don't see that this is a solution to the problems we face. It really just feels like more of the same.
And we're in a mining area. We're in a mining town. We're in a mining state. So we have to be mindful of all those things that are coming our way. And like I shared with Matt, that we need allies to be arrestables because Indigenous people here are killed in these jails. Mm-hmm. They're killed by the police here in Nevada. My cousin was one of them that was killed when Kyle Kirschmeyer came down after giving training to the Reno police. Their way of de-escalating is to kill us, to shoot first instead of tase. They don't even tase us. So, you know, we need that white privilege to come in solidarity and support. Not saying in that way, saying it the way I heard an ally say it. She said, all the allies, you need to come and use your white privilege. None of our Indigenous people are getting arrested today. And she said, not as white savior, but as allyship. And that really resonated with me because now I can bring that home and articulate that this is what we have in solidarity together, because we're in an unjust system that we're seeing, and probably a mining company that's trying to be here for the next century.
If you guys weren't standing up, who knows where we'd be. Once again, if you're just joining, this is Myron Dewey of Digital Smoke Signals. Please find him. Find Digital Smoke Signals online, and also Max Wilbert, protectthackerpass.org. Also find them on the socials. Now, Max, you mentioned that you've been out there since January 15th, and also I did not know until you mentioned it earlier that is the day that the project was preliminarily permitted or where construction was about to begin. Now, having been there that since day one, so to speak, what is it like with the ranchers, with the local sort of the people who have that settler privilege or white privilege, but who are also now several generations deep into a relationship with the land? Sometimes, you know, they understand it in a way that a lot of Americans don't. Like, what is your sense of how that allyship is potentially coming to fruition, or are there roadblocks? What is your idea on that?
Yeah, it's a challenge, absolutely. The community here, the white community, is mostly opposed to this mine. They're worried about the air pollution issues, the water use issues. They're worried about 200 semi-trucks a day going right next to their school. You know, a lot of different things obviously come with a project like this. So the local community has largely been opposed. I mentioned the rancher who filed the lawsuit. Another rancher as well as protested the water rights transfers for this project. So there's certainly some opportunity there to go down the good road that I think we've seen in Nevada, like with the Southern Nevada Water Authority water grab project over on the east side of the state. That project was successfully fought off last year or at the end of the year before, you know, and it was a coalition that brought together farmers and ranchers and the native communities from the region and environmental groups, and a lot of different people worked together, you know, despite political differences and different worldviews and all that. And we've seen that in other places too, like with the Jordan Cove pipeline in Southern Oregon. You know, you had a lot of white folks who were landowners, you know, people who have probably a lot of money, and they really didn't like that eminent domain thing. And people found that overlap where they could collaborate and work together. You know, people may be coming from lots of different backgrounds, but let's try and work together. Let's try and find those overlaps where we can. And it's sort of an interesting opportunity for this because you know, a lot of the right wing and conservative folks have been critical of, you know, the Democrats and progressives for promoting solar and stuff like that, and lithium mining, for reasons that I don't agree with. But nonetheless, there is like this small point of overlap. But it's like Myron was saying the other day when the Bundys came to Standing Rock. You know, it's like a Venn diagram that sort of barely touches. So there's a lot of challenges there. But you know, it's an opportunity, and I think some people are taking advantage of it. Obviously, no community is homogenous and everybody's the same. So there's definitely some folks in these farming and ranching communities here who are, you know, people with really good principles and values who want to stand against this mine, not just for selfish reasons, but, you know, in solidarity with the native opposition, with the land itself. And that opportunity is there, and we'll see what it turns into.
Getting all the 28 different bands together and to help, I think, support support them, to help them articulate, why are we protecting the sacred? What does that mean? What does that mean to indigenous people, being that we've been colonized and assimilated and indoctrinated? What does that mean? And also our allies that are stepping forward and helping us articulate the Western language, which we know is, you know, in the courts is forked tongue. It doesn't go in the courts don't protect the sacred. So there's just in my role here is trying to really help our tribes articulate. People that want to come up, I'm just advising, be self-reliant. We're 60 miles from the nearest town. We're 20 miles from the nearest small little few gas stations. There is an RV post where, you know, you can dump your station down there. I'm in the same one I was in at Standing Rock, you know, where it's barely holding together. You know, bring your own equipment, do the best you can to be self-reliant. There is a kitchen here. There is compost toilets. Max and his team have done an amazing job in getting that prepared, and we can always grow. We need cooks, medics, and people to hold that front line and to help articulate and also be healed. If you're a water protector, I hope you've been working on yourself for the last 4 years since Standing Rock, because you this work is hard, and you need to have a good mind and good spirit, and also take care of your spirit when you get here, because there's work to be done. It's not just relaxing and sitting around. There's always work to be done. 5:30 this morning, and you know it's already evening time.
I just want to say that's important, Myron. I did not know that there were 28 bands. I mean, maybe they're all Paiute and Shoshone, but that's a different homeland, and that comes with different sacred sites, different medicines, different kind of nations that depend on that ecosystem as well. Cultural resources, and tribal national involvement, which is not always easy to do. You know, it takes people like Myron, like Derek, like others who have given their time, their energy, and their talents to this struggle. And Max, if there's ways that people can get involved, you know, I do want to direct them to protectthackerpass.org.
I guess the first and most important thing I would say is, you know, if you're able, come out here, visit the site, you know, whether you're able to come for a day or better than that, much longer. You know, we need people to come here, and a lot of people have the experience of coming here and really falling in love with this place. It's a really powerful place. And when I first came out here, I had no idea that this was a sacred site. You know, I knew that this was traditional ancestral lands of these people here, of the Fort McDermott people, but I didn't know it was a sacred site. But I felt something on this land. I just felt something special. You know, the first time I visited was actually October of last year. And after that visit, I just felt like I can't let this place be destroyed. And so I hope people come and feel that, because that emotional connection, I think, is the basis of everything. You know, there's rational problems with what's going on here too, but I think that's really important. So come out. That's a big part of it. Another thing that we could really use help with, the people of Red Mountain have been trying to mobilize all the tribes. Myron mentioned all the bands in Nevada to put pressure on the Secretary of the Interior by writing letters, making public statements of opposition. She has made statements talking about the importance of defending native sacred lands around this country. And Biden has put out this executive order saying we need to do consultation way better and more in depth than we have in the past. So we're seeing these words, and we really are hoping that it will be reality, right? I think we're all hoping that. And so if anybody's listening or watching this and is involved in their tribal governments or native organizations or non-native organizations, non-native government, or you're just a regular person, there are a lot of ways that you can help. So reach out to us. It's going to take a lot of people to defend this place, and this is just the beginning too. There's almost 8,000 lithium mining claims in the state of Nevada. This is the beginning of a whole new industrial revolution. And just like the first one, there's going to be a lot of destruction. So, the questioning of fossil fuels has allowed us to sort of have this discussion, have this dialogue. The Dakota Access movement, brought up these issues, not just all around the country, but all around the world. And we can't let sort of the lesson of that be lost in this, furor of people like Elon Musk saying, lithium, 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 and just stuffing, Benjamins into his wallet, right? The richest man in the world now. And he's the one, as you mentioned earlier, Chase, who said, we will coup whoever we want when he was talking about Bolivia and the lithium there. So it really is the new oil. And just like in Iraq, we're seeing the military industrial complex and the war machine get on board with the idea of, we'll take it if you won't give it to us.
Wow. I appreciate that. Myron, you guys, I just wanted to give you an opportunity if you have any closing thoughts or anything that we missed. I did not 8,000 mines, 8,000 mining claims in Nevada. So, and Lithium America, that's what it's important to understand that we have to wake up, because the foreign policy and the multinational corporations are dictating our foreign policy and our energy policy as a country, and that never turns out good for the earth, and it doesn't turn out good for our future generations' right to healthy ecosystems. But
Yeah.
I just want to thank you guys for giving us a bit of your time tonight. I know you're on the site, and that's not the easiest thing to do, but I want to give you an opportunity to offer some closing comments, anything you might have missed or anything that you want to add.
One of the things is I'm trying to help establish the digital protocol here, like we had at camp, and also where the solidarity for allies to come in, tribal members to come in, where can they go, and follow those protocols and come into another territory. It's important that you go directly to the tribe and the show your solidarity. And what does that mean? I'm also doing what I can to share that with them as well as consensus. But on another note, from Standing Rock, Chase, I learned a lot. I'm always saying that here. What did we learn from Standing Rock? What I learned from the military, what I learned from the National Guard, the mercenaries, and again, Homeland Security and Border Patrol, is that all of these actions, this live feed, your live feed, Line 3, Oak Flats, all these live feeds are on a big wall in what's called a war room, like they had over at Bismarck. And so, relatives, be mindful what you say on these live feeds. Educate the truth. The truth don't care about their feelings. The truth is the truth. Be mindful of how you say it. Good heart, good mind, good spirit. Remember that it's not about you. It's about what you're protecting and the community. And if you're a visitor, when you're gone, their people are still going to have to be there and go through whatever it is you guys opposed. So we have to be mindful of where we're at, and what we're doing, and go in a good way. We aren't the enemy within each other, although many of our people were the agitators and the infiltrators during that Standing Rock, our own people. We have to be mindful that that's there as well. Not everyone's on board with protecting the sacred, protecting the water, protecting the land. Many people don't harvest these traditional medicines or even hunt, nor do they have their own Namananya, their Indian name. So we have to be mindful of we can only bring people as far as they are, not as far as we are. And we got to be very mindful of the historical trauma that this is causing, the PTSD that this is causing. So I'm asking those healers to come forward, take care of us, come forward and bring us those medicines when you come as well. Bring those runners and send in that medicine, those songs, those ceremonies. Those are the things we need to do to stay strong and keep our spirit strong, stay focused. And allies, you know, if you're a tree hugger or whatever they do, chakra, Reiki, bring it in, bring it in.
At World Peace and Prayer Day, brother. Remember the international styles.
Yes.
You know what? We're open to that. People are seeking an awakening. Max, any closing words, brother?
Well, you know, my friend always says we got one known planet in the universe that supports life, right? And it's this paradise that we live on. And it's really simple math. I was not good at math in school, but I can do this one, right? You have one living planet and you destroy it. That's 1 minus 1.
And again, thank you all for tuning in. This has been Max Wilbert with Protect Thacker Pass and Myron Dewey with Digital Smoke Signals and Paiute Nation. Brothers, we will check in again, but thank you so much for tonight.
No, Pijat you, and thank you for all your hard work. It's good to watch these shows.
Thank you for that, Myron and Max. You know, they're right. In order to prepare ourselves to confront the financial extractive war machine, to confront those people who they don't care about whether or not our children have clean water to drink. They don't care whether or not we can eat the fish that swim in the rivers. They don't care if salmon spawn again in any given year. They don't care if the buffalo have a homeland or if they're slaughtered by cattle men in Montana every single year. They don't care about those kinds of things. And they know that as indigenous peoples, as indigenous nations, we're connected to all of it. And even those who are not indigenous are also connected to all of it. We're all on the same level, but we vibrate at different frequencies because of the innate power of the protocols, the inspirations, the knowledges, the dances, the songs, and they're not technologies, but they're instruments like the drum and so forth. We have these responsibilities that we have to carry. You heard it from Phil Two Eagle, you just heard it from Myron Dewey, and you heard it from Tunkashila Leonard Crowdog, grandfather Leonard Crowdog. That is it for our guests. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to encourage you to subscribe to our podcast. You can view all of these interviews, or listen to them rather, in their entirety. You don't have to be a paid subscriber. That's one of the questions that I got. And I don't know, they say if you're good at something, don't do it for free, but you can listen right now for free. We're not at the level where you've got to pay to get in. But if you would like to support us, please there's the link to our podcast, anchor.fm/cut-to-the-chase, a hyphen between each word. Cut to the chase, Iron Eyes, you search on there. We appreciate every single share, every one of you who shared the stream, every like, every comment. We do our best to keep track of those. And I want to finish the day with calling attention to line 3. As you were able to see, Tara Hauska, go follow her. Their organization called GNU Collective, GINIW, GNU Collective. Honor the Earth is also there. Jane Fonda was also there. Indigenous Environmental Network was also there. The Treaty People Gathering, I believe, ended yesterday, but they have a host of resistance camps. I also know Sam Strong, Red Lake Nation, and Sasha Bolio are also there, and Camp Migizi. I can't remember, all the names of all the camps, but please find them, support them. They had 150 arrests in one single day, and the Homeland Security is using one of their helicopters to swing up debris all about the construction site that was locked down with over 150 people. We just want to send our encouragement and our intentions to Line 3. In about 2 weeks, we're also going to join the Leonard Peltier Freedom Riders. And let me get if you go to the International Leonard Peltier Defense Committee, you see it on the screen there on the upper left side of the screen, Peltier HQ. You go to that page on Facebook or on Twitter. That's the same handle for Twitter, Peltier HQ. And you'll be able to find out about the Freedom Ride 2021, the Leonard Peltier Freedom Ride 2021. And they also have a website just simply called Freedom Ride 2021. They also have a Facebook, but we are going to join them in Washington, D.C. to call for clemency for Leonard Peltier. We all know that what was done to put Leonard Peltier in prison, serving 2 consecutive life sentences for crimes which he did not commit. In fact, the prosecutors, the federal prosecutors, the Department of Justice needs to be held account. The people who put Leonard in jail, in prison, should be in prison themselves for prosecutorial misconduct. They committed crimes. They fabricated evidence. They fabricated affidavits. They used violent intimidation to coerce witnesses in order to put Leonard Peltier in prison since before I came onto the earth. So I want to invite you to go find International Leonard Peltier Defense Committee. We do appreciate all your support for Leonard Peltier. And he also sent words of mourning, words of encouragement for Leonard Crow Dog. They were contemporaries, and Leonard Peltier was able to dance at Crow Dog's Paradise some years ago. And lastly, we can celebrate momentarily. We're not ever able to just breathe a sigh of relief like we won, but TransCanada themselves, the owners and the purveyors of cancerous, poisonous tar sands pipelines, TransCanada themselves are saying that they're pulling all of their resources from the Keystone XL pipeline. They're saying that it's finally dead, it's finally terminated, but I would ask Oscar High Elk at 2KC Media, because they are on the ground at Spotted Elk Trails, Spotted Elk Camp or Roots Camp. This is right in an area where Spotted Elk lived, and that is the true history behind Wounded Knee #1, the massacre, is Spotted Elk's band there. So Oscar High Elk is on the ground. He's still facing charges in Haken County related to TransCanada's act of international aggression known as the Keystone XL pipeline. And we also want to, so we're going to stay vigilant. We're going to celebrate on the surface, online. We're going to high five each other. We're going to dap each other up. But on the low, people are still on the ground watching every move that TransCanada and their chum private security firms like Alpha 6 and others who are on the ground surveilling the whole place, no doubt viewing our feed in what Myron called the war room. You got to remember the fusion center was up at Standing Rock. So these are ways that we can fight back, is just share each other's truths. And the last thing I want to share is that Jacelyn Charger, young indigenous leader, she was charged with trespass for locking down the KXL pump station infrastructure. And she was facing 1 year in jail. She has now accepted a deal where she will not have to do any jail time. And when you're facing prison time or jail time, it's this burden that just never leaves you. It bothers you at night. It bothers you at 3 a.m. in the morning. It bothers you in every day of your life. And so you're always trying to find some way to not have to think about that. Well, Jacelyn is on 6 months of probation. And I want to thank everybody who was there for her today, including the Lakota People's Law Project, people who were on the ground, the grandmothers that supported her, including Madonna Thunderhawk and Mabel Ann Phillips. I saw Oscar, I saw Alex, I saw others in that photo, and they're gathering in Eagle Butte, South Dakota at the four-way, probably right now, to sing some songs and to celebrate these victories. And yes, thanks for that shout out to Alpha Team 6. Our control team was chased at 90 miles an hour by these cats. They confront you and they harass you. They do what they do their bidding. They do the bidding of the extractive forces which can pay for their mercenary-like services. We know if it's any other country, we're dead. I'm dead. Anybody who stands up to the financial extractive war machine comes up missing. So it is extremely important for us to always pay attention. That's why I'm always saying, share the stream, like and comment, because we're covering real issues here. And we want you to know that you can rely on us for that. So with that, I want to thank you for tuning in tonight. I know we're not in the studio. I don't have all the fancy bells and whistles that I'm usually used to in stepping into this role as commentator, analyst, pundit. I don't know. You can decide what, the media can decide what to call me. I never called myself an activist or a frontliner. That all came from other people labeling me. But I will continue to try to do my part, and I appreciate your attention, your time, your energy, everything you put into perceiving what's coming at you. As you can see, we truly have the honor of bringing you some of the most powerful insights. And I'm honored and privileged to be able to play some role in your evenings. Every single Wednesday, we'll have something for you. Please check out our podcast. I can't say it enough. We have a lead sponsor, a flagship sponsor, the Lakota People's Law Project. We have Last Real Indians, who is kind enough to let us use their platform. Myron Dewey at Digital Smoke Signals. The Indigenous Peoples Movement gives us props and shout outs every now and then. And the International Leonard Peltier Defense Committee. I will be reaching out to them. There's not a day that I don't sometimes think about Leonard, because I was able to visit him inside Coleman in Florida there, and he has not lost hope, and we should not either. We should do all we can with all we got while we're over here on the outside, free within the confines of the matrix, or however you want to look at that. But we should not stop advocating for Leonard at the highest levels. We got to keep hope alive, because he's not losing hope. President Biden needs to hear Leonard Peltier's plea for clemency. So I will do a show from out there, right in Washington, D.C. Maybe I won't be in the studio so much this summer as much as I want to be. But anyhow, I want to thank each and every one of you for staying with us this long. Go check out the extended version at the podcast. But for now, this has been Cut to the Chase, number 18, broadcasting from Wazi, otherwise known as POW Camp 344, the Pine Ridge Reservation, the home of the mighty Oglala Lakota Nation, a band of the Tetawan Oyate. So with that, I want to thank you. This is Cut to the Chase, number 18, and we are out.